Hi everyone, it's Mr. Tristan and welcome to episode 10 of our Survivor 50 recap. So the episode starts off with the tribe coming back from tribal council after just voting off Christian, or as Rick called him, the Captain Kirk to his Spock, something like that. Something Star Trek related, which I thought was funny because, fun fact, I was watching Star Trek before this episode. So I thought it was just a very funny coincidence. So Emily tries to do damage control with Ozzy after just voting for him at the last tribal, and she and Rick bond over the fact that they're alone, and Rick is ready to cause some chaos. Which, if anybody has seen Survivor Edge of Extinction, they know that Rick is no stranger to chaos. This man has nothing to lose, just like his last season, so he's ready for anything. And now we get to the Survivor auction, which this has been around many times throughout the show. But unlike all the other auctions, this one is different because there's a theme to it. Each item is either comfort, chaos, or both. The first three items had no chaos, just comfort. Rick got a tray of onion rings and french fries with some dipping sauce. Emily got a chocolate milkshake, and Jonathan got a whole snack tray with like crackers and veggies. Any of those items I would have loved to have if I was on Survivor, especially not eating anything for like 19 days. And then we get to the first chaos. So Aubrey buys a shared item and she chooses to share it with Rizzo. So they both got a plate of chocolate chip cookies and some milk. But in order to get the cookies and milk, they had to eat 2 grub worms. Only Aubrey ate those worms. Rizzo just sat there. And I just thought, wow. I mean, if I was there, I definitely would have eaten one of those worms because, if I'm gonna get something, I have to earn it. And if I was Rizzo, I would have told Aubrey, after eating both of those worms, to get the horrible taste out of her mouth, she gets the milk. But, I don't know. I mean, they got it, so hey, good on them. So Cirie got a blanket and then some mouthwash and a toothbrush. Stephanie got a grilled cheese sandwich, which is also so good. And then Jonathan bought a shared item, which he shared with Ozzy. Now this one was called a fall on the sword item, which means Jonathan had to complete a chaos task in order for Ozzy to get the comfort. So Jonathan had to eat a sea slug in 2 minutes or less in order for Ozzy to get fried chicken. So Jonathan paid for this and he doesn't even get the good thing. He just gets the chaos of eating a sea slug. I don't even know if that's worth it because he gets nothing out of that. Only Ozzy gets something out of that. But hey, good on Jonathan. He still did it. Then Cirie got a charcuterie board. I think I said that right. Rizzo got some chicken breasts with a protein shake. And Ozzy got a whole cake. Oh my god. He just dug his face right in there. I mean, I would have done the same thing because I love cake. And then Jonathan got a PB&J sandwich, and while he was going to get it, Cirie went over to the bushes to go throw up after eating all that food. And when she came back, she was still going for it. I mean, hey, can't let that food go to waste. Aubrey got mac and cheese, and she said it tasted like home because she pictured her toddler just throwing it everywhere. And even Joe pitched in about how he would make mac and cheese with his kids. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a beautiful moment between 2 parents. Now we get on to the last item, which required everybody to pitch in, not knowing if it was comfort or chaos. Everybody pitched in, and they got loved one letters, which is truly the most beautiful thing. When you're away for a long time, no communication with the outside world, getting a letter from your family would boost your morale. But of course, with that comfort comes chaos. And that chaos comes in the form of Mr. Beast. That's right, I mentioned before that Mr. Beast was going to come in. So Mr. Beast comes right up next to Jeff with a briefcase. What was the briefcase? Well, when he turned it over, it said, "Beware." So this twist was a Mr. Beast super beware advantage, which they would get into at Tribal Council that night. But before they could even have a chance of reading their letters, they went straight to the immunity challenge, which required everybody to stand on a narrow beam while balancing a ball on a wooden bow. And at the end of it, Tiffany won that challenge. And she broke down because on day 19 of Survivor 46, she was voted out with an idol in her pocket. So Tiffany got to last longer than she did before, and honestly, I'm impressed. Like I'm okay with that. You know, when you're playing for a second time, or even third, fourth, fifth, whatever, however many times, you always want to do better than your first time. So I was actually happy for Tiffany. So everyone gets back to camp and they start reading their letters, and Cirie reveals that she never got a letter from her dad until now, which I don't think I've ever heard anything about Cirie's parents, because the times that Cirie had a loved one come on the show, she had her husband HB come out like twice in Panama and Micronesia, and then in Game Changers, her son Jared, after just graduating high school, comes out to the show. And the fact that Cirie's dad took the time to write a letter for the first time, I thought that was truly beautiful. Rick got an inspiring letter from his wife, basically telling him to take the time to look around and I guess play with some sort of playfulness, something like that. I can't really remember, but I definitely think it's given Rick the strength to continue to play hard, which I love to see. After reading her love letters, Aubrey looked back at the first time she played and how Michelle won that season and started thinking that she could learn a thing or two from Michelle. So I think that we're going to see a whole new side of Aubrey, which I would love to see. But of course, since Tribal Council is coming up, this whole comforting, like Zen, like love, it had to come to a complete stop because they had to get to who they were going to vote for. Jonathan tells Stephanie that Ozzy was like throwing out her name, which wasn't entirely true, but Jonathan was doing that in order to get the votes on Ozzy. Emily and Joe were also told about it, but then Joe went to spill the beans to Cirie. How many times have I facepalmed in these recaps? Somebody please tell me, because I feel like I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I feel like I've done that every single episode, but I don't know for sure because I've lost count at how many times I had to do that. Why would you tell Cirie about voting out Ozzy? Like, Joe, why? I love you, but Joe, come on. Joe is making this really difficult because like I said, I love Joe. I would love it if Joe won, but he's definitely not playing a good game in my opinion. So I don't know. Later on, Stephanie tried to talk to Cirie, and it basically led to Cirie now wanting to vote Stephanie. Once Stephanie caught wind of that, she now starts throwing out Cirie's name into voting her out. And not only that, Rick brings up Rizzo, and even Aubrey's name was mentioned. Like, at this point, half of the tribe was mentioned. There's Ozzy, Stephanie, Cirie, Rizzo, Aubrey. Literally half the tribe. So I'm wondering what the heck is going to happen. I don't know, because we still haven't gotten to the Mr. Beast twist, which we are getting to right now. So at Tribal Council, Rick basically starts letting everything out in the open about what was talked about at camp regarding Jonathan and Stephanie wanting to vote out Ozzy in order to save himself. Stephanie tries to respond by saying that it was not her plan, but I didn't think anybody was listening. After that, Mr. Beast came in and we finally figured out what the Super Beware advantage was. It was a coin flip. So there was a gold coin which had the Mr. Beast logo and also torches to represent heads and tails. So how this worked was one person had to go and flip a coin. If they couldn't come to a decision, then the players would have to draw rocks, except Tiffany because she was immune. Basically, whoever's flipping the coin, just like in a regular coin flip, you call heads or tails. If the coin lands on the side that the person calls, this person would be safe from the vote. They get a hidden immunity idol, and above all, the prize money doubles from $1 million to $2 million, which the only other time that's happened was Survivor Winners at War, when the prize money was $2 million. So I was like, oh my God, that is massive. However, if the person flips the coin and it does not land on the side that they call, there is no vote, and that person is out of the game. And the prize money still remains $1 million. So ultimately, if you volunteer to flip the coin, it's ultimately a 50-50 shot of being out of the game, which is a huge risk. I don't even think I would have volunteered to do that, even though it would have been great to not only have immunity, but have an idol and be the reason why the prize money doubled. Right off the bat, Rick volunteered to flip the coin, and even Aubrey considered doing it, but ultimately she let Rick do it. So Rick called heads, which was the Mr. Beast logo, and he flipped the coin, and it lands on the logo, which means Rick was safe, he got an idol, and the prize money is now $2 million. When I saw that it landed on the Mr. Beast logo, I literally got up off the couch, just running my hands through my hair. Like, I just could not believe that that happened. Like, Rick Devens basically gambled the biggest gamble of all. Like, he took a 50-50 shot knowing that it could have also led to him being voted out. Well, I mean, technically not being voted out, because it's more like him voting himself out, kind of like Christian did, just in a different way. But, oh my God, that was massive. So now we do have a vote, but before that, we have the live tribal, where people are talking about if Stephanie was going to play her steal a vote and who she was going to play it on. Ultimately, when it came down to it, Stephanie did play her steal a vote, and she chose to steal Rick's vote. Stephanie put both of her votes on Aubrey, but it didn't even matter because Stephanie was voted out unanimously. Dang. Another OG Survivor player is out. Now the only OGs left in the game are Cirie and Ozzy. So what did I think about Stephanie being voted out? It sucked. You know, I do like Stephanie. I know there's people who don't, but I personally liked her. Stephanie has had quite the Survivor journey. Her first time playing, she was on one of the worst tribes in Survivor history, the Oolong tribe. You know, there's my buff back there. Stephanie watched her tribe mates go out one by one until she was the only one left. That had to be scary for her. Then she came back in Guatemala, where she got to play a different game, got all the way to the end, but just came up short. Then she came back for Heroes vs. Villains, where she was voted out early due to the fact that she is a strong player. And then here she comes 16 years later on Survivor 50, and while she did do better than, well, most of her seasons, she ultimately ends up 10th, I think. Is it 10th place? Yeah, I think it is. But I definitely think Stephanie played a fantastic game. I've loved seeing her come back. And am I the only one who has noticed sometimes, like watching her at Tribal, it doesn't even look like she aged at all? Like she still looked the same. She still looked like the same girl she was about 20 years ago. Like, has anybody else noticed that? Or is it just me? I don't know. But that's crazy because now the prize money is $2 million. So whoever wins this season, they have Rick Devens to thank for that. It's because of him that somebody is now getting $2 million. I can only imagine who's going to win this because there are no winners. So somebody is going to have a taste of the $2 million, which the only other person who's had that honor is Tony. And he already had $1 million from his first win. So Tony got to win $3 million in his Survivor career. Someone's just going to get $2 million out of it. But still, $2 million, that's a lot of money. That's incredible. So now, how are the players going to play? Because I imagine that some people are going to end up playing much harder now that the prize money is doubled. But only time will tell. Now, before I end this video, I actually forgot to mention something in the previous video, and it has to do with Christian. So in his voting confessional where he voted for himself, Christian said that he would be looking forward to Jimmy Fallon's apology. Now, I actually saw a clip of Christian on Jimmy Fallon's show where Jimmy Fallon actually did apologize to Christian because he was saying that it wasn't supposed to be him. And I thought that was fantastic. But it sucked that Christian was out, but at least he got his apology from Jimmy Fallon. And now another player that I was rooting for, Stephanie, she's out. So there's not that many people left that I am rooting for that I believe has a chance of winning. Of all the people that I'm rooting for to win, I think the person that has the best shot, like I mentioned before, is Cirie. Cirie is definitely quite the mastermind. So I definitely think if she continues to play her cards right, she could end up winning, finally, after 20 years. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!